Okay, now let's work on the service section and make it respond to the different device width. If I click and drag now, you see this is about 1,000 plus, so that is still within the landscape tab. All right, so our design is still good. However, as I keep moving and reducing the width, you see now at this point, this is 850 something. Right now, we are within the port tab. Okay, now, so if you look at it, from this position, I want to flip the flex direction. Right now, we have these services we offer at the bottom, but I want it at the top, all right? And you know what to do to get that one done. So let's quickly fix that. So here in services, I will say at include viewport and port tab. And what do we want to do? I'll set the flex direction to column reverse, and that should fix that. Let's check it. If I refresh, good. Now we have that taken care of. So we have that second column now being the first column, but we need to give a gap between the button and the next card. And so to fix that, I'll come here and here at include viewport, port tab. And what do I want? I want margin bottom to be, say, around 5 rem, like so. Good. So we have that margin now. And if we scroll, more or less, everything is looking good, except that we have to fix this circle. It's no longer a full circle. It now looks like a sphere, sort of. And we need to reduce this image size. And again, if you look at the text here, it's too close to the image. But for this second one, it's okay. All right, so let's get that done. Let's create the gap between the text and the background. So here in IMG, that's the circle with that color tertiary background to read. So here, I can come here and say at include our viewport and port tab. Now what I need to do is to reduce the width to maybe around 18 rem. Right now it is 20, and height to 18 rem also. Okay. Then we need to ensure that that text has a margin, the first and the last card. So let's check what we have now. Okay, you see the circle has become perfect, but again, we need to reduce the size of this image. And all I need to do is, again, I'll come here and say at include viewport, port tab. And this time, let me make the width to be, say, 14 rem and the height to be 13 rem. Good, but that's still too big. Let's make it 12 and 10. Good. That looks better. But the circle still hasn't been as perfect as I want, so I guess I have to make it 15. In that case, let me reduce this to 11 or probably to 10, 9, because this is how you're going to keep tweaking it until you get what you want. Good. This looks much better. So now let me fix this by having a margin between this text and this background. Okay. So the text is inside the card, right? Let's check the HTML. We have heading tertiary and pmain. So all I need to do is to get into the text, then get into the pmain. Okay, so here is the text, and at desktop it has no style. So let's target it at include viewport, port tab, and in that place I have a pmain there. But if you look at it, pmain, I have to target the first and the last, because for the second one the gap is okay. So I have to say pmain first of type, and I think that first child can also do it. Pmain last of type, So what do I want? I want a margin bottom of, say, about 3 rem. Let's see what 3 rem gives us. Refresh. Good. So we have this, but I'm not too, I think it's too big. Isn't it too big? The gap here is a bit too much. So let me reduce it a bit. Maybe I could say 2 rem. Okay, I think 2 rem, it's okay. But again, I have a border line. So where do I have to target that? That's in the card. So here in the card, I can say at include viewport, port tab. Now I want a border, but so where do I apply the border? Should it be top or bottom? If you look at the finished version, this is the first card, and this border is at the top. This is the second one, the border is at the top. This is the third, the border is at the top. So it makes sense to apply it at the top, because if I apply it at the bottom, this one will have a border here, and I wouldn't like that. Okay, border top of 1 pixel solid, and let me use my color primary or color tertiary there. Okay, you see the color. Okay, it's there. I guess that's not what I use in the finished version. Let me increase to say 3. Okay, that's more like it. All right, but if you see it now, you see that the second one, the border is close to it. So it means I have to pad the second card at the top so that this line doesn't touch the image. So to have the padding at the top, or to give that second one a padding top without it affecting the other, what do I do? Right now, generally targeting the card. So what I can do is to use a pseudo selector and say any child equals 2, that's number 2 there, and say padding top equals 2 rem. Let's see this. Now look at it, this height is, so if I refresh now, good. So we now have this margin at the top. Okay, but again, if you look at it, I don't like the fact that for this card, it starts with text, image. I want to flip the order here. So what do I do again? Let's go in there. If you look at the finished version, we have image, text, image, text, image, text. So I want that order, right? I want that order maintained across all. But right now, what I have is a text, image, image, text, image, text. It doesn't flow as I want. I want them to be consistent and be image, text, image, text, image, text. So I'll have to do something here. That is the first card here. Flip the order. So I can go here again and target that particular card by using another pseudo selector and say any child again, 1, and I will say flex direction and column reverse. If I do that, let's see what we have. Good. So you see that. But by doing that, I introduce that issue of needing a padding at the top. So let's add padding top. Again, 2 rem. Now note that someone else could handle this same thing in different ways. That's why it is designed. Okay. If I refresh, good. So we have that padding. All right. And our design look gorgeous now. So this padding top look consistent across the 3 cards. With that, you see that we now have this services section well arranged. And if I increase, you see everything fall in order. Good. So that's exactly what we need to do. And if you look at it, most of the things there were taken care of by the utility classes that we apply. So we just needed to do just a little things here to get everything aligned the way we want them. So that's it about the services section. Next, we'll look at the features section.